Hello there, everybody, and today I'm here to review another Superman movie, that being All-Star Superman. So, I've already reviewed Superman Doomsday with Little Blue on his channel. I don't know when he's gonna release that review, but I feel like doing a different Superman animated movie, that being this movie. It's based off a comic I have not read, but I'd like to read it eventually. I just haven't made the time to read it. But this is viewed as the best Superman story of all time. It's like a giant love letter to the character. This is where Superman only has a few days to live as he was hit by some different solar radiation around the sun while trying to rescue a group of astronauts. So he tries to do as much as he can before he passes on, and Metropolis will not have Superman. So this story actually really surprised me, and the animation actually looks really good in this version of Superman. It feels like a good, mature story of Superman and what it takes for him to be Superman and how much the world does need Superman. But he does everything in his power to basically save Metropolis at the last minute from various threats that come his way. We also see Lex Luthor, who we actually see a more different Lex Luthor, who's apparently on death row after everything he's done. He gets arrested, but because of his death row, he's going to spend his last few moments paying up for his crimes. And what the biggest thing that does happen in this movie, that he later in the movie gets Superman's abilities after experimenting on himself in prison. But the main thing that Superman does do is he spends his last few moments with Lois Lane. They go to the Fortress of Solitude, and I think Superman has like a key that will open the door, and apparently this key is so heavy that even Lois can't pick it up. The world's smallest key is also the heaviest, but only Superman can pick it up, no matter how much strength he has left. But apparently he wants to spend his last moment with Lois by showing her his archives. We see like statues, figurines of all the adventures he went on. We even see like a Batman statue, which I thought was cool. But apparently Superman is working on a secret project that it leaves Lois suspicious about Superman, if he really means well to Lois or not. But she has like a kryptonite gun she steals from his vault, and she zaps Superman. But because he's slowly dying from the sun radiation, he's immune to kryptonite, and he even causes him to say, that tickles. But it turns out Superman is actually just working on a project for Lois, which apparently appears that he has made a super suit for Lois to wear, and it's able to give her Superman's abilities for just a day, and the two actually spend their time together by going to the moon and making love to each other. But it's interrupted by these two Superman-like dudes who are apparently from the 31st century, I'm pretty sure. I don't know if I got it right, but apparently they're there to challenge Superman to see if they should be the next Superman after he dies. But apparently this happens once Superman is challenged to an arm wrestle match, and he's able to beat both of them and cause like a huge earthquake. But apparently they are not the right choice for Superman's role in Metropolis. But the two end up going back to the 31st century. But meanwhile, Clark is brought in to interview Lex Luthor at prison, but it's interrupted by Parasite, who breaks out of prison, and it causes Lex to go crazy at Parasite. He's able to just stomp on him for a little bit after he gets crushed by some rubble. And some people actually think Clark actually died in the rubble, but nah, he survived, of course. But the next thing that does happen is that there's these other two Superman-like beings who apparently want to challenge Superman as well to see if they could be the next phase for Superman. But it just apparently doesn't really work out for Superman. But the main thing that does lead to the finale of the movie is where Lex does break out before his execution. He's able to get the Superman powers, and this is what leads to Superman and Lex having a showdown. And what causes Lex to actually stop fighting is that he has a change of heart. He discovers, because he has Superman's abilities, he's able to see the meaning of life. He's able to figure out what makes the world function because he has Superman's abilities. And so with that, he decides to take a stance down against Superman, and he feels he could do good, but he feels it's too late. As Superman tells him, he would have done that a long time ago. But because of their fight, Superman is actually dying faster, and so he makes a final goodbye to Lois, and the two kiss, and of course Superman goes up into the sky, and he sacrifices the rest of his cells, and he fades away. But the legacy of Superman lives on. There's a statue of him. But it turns out, in the story, if you don't know in the comic, from what I've researched, it turns out Superman actually gets reincarnated back, where he does come back to life, but as a new embodiment of Superman. I think that's what's suggested at the end of this movie, since this movie is different from the comic, since I guess because of the budget and the time limit. But apparently there was this other scene that definitely should have been in this movie where Superman is able to stop a girl from committing suicide. I thought that would have been powerful to have that one spark moment with Superman where it shows his compassion towards others. But they did their best what they did have for this movie, and Lex goes back to prison, and he actually owns up for everything he's done throughout Superman's history. He just owns up to it, and he's ready for his execution, which I assume happens off screen. But the movie does end on a high note for the hope that Superman will come back to protect Metropolis. So that's All-Star Superman. I don't think it's my favorite DC animated movie of all time, but it's definitely a hidden gem for sure, because I don't see people talking about this movie too much. But it has a pretty decent voice cast. Not as good as the animated series one, but they did their best for what they could fit for what was working in the comic book at the time. So I'd give All-Star Superman, why not, an 8 out of 10. But the next Superman review, I don't know if I will review the Superman versus the Elites, since that is a completely different Superman movie I would definitely love to talk about. So anyway, thanks for watching, and I'll see you all next time.